I'm Danny Herbert and I am partner for product development for a business growth consultancy called Catalyst.
Okay, and what brought you here today? What did Chris Smith say to you that made you think, I've got to be part of the Centre for the New Midlands Conference?
He said, can you run a session to try to get people to work out what we would say to sell the West Midlands to an overseas investor and buyer audience, which seems to be a question that is hanging around the place.
And did you, and what would you say?
I failed in the sense that it's far too difficult a job to do in 40 minutes, but what I did manage to do was get some great engagement from some very sparky people. They had some good things to say about the West Midlands, and we managed, by introducing a bit of discipline, to get some stories to sell the West Midlands that in some cases I thought were very focused. What we didn't manage to do was get an overall sales pitch for the West Midlands that will work on anybody, and that's the problem with regional marketing, isn't it? There are so many things you could talk about. You mentioned when we were chatting the previous history of James Brindley, manufacturing glories. Someone mentioned Ozzy Osbourne, we invented heavy metal. There's all sorts of things you can say. What do you say? And that's kind of, it is difficult.
So how does a conference like this then focus your mind, and does it make it, you go home thinking any clearer as to how you would come up with a snappy one-liner to sell us overseas?
I'm the sort of person who briefs the snappy one-liner and says, here's the criteria for what good looks like. I'm terrible at writing the actual one-liner itself in terms of advertising or anything like that. So I would simply go home today, I think, in the firm realisation that this is indeed a very difficult job, but it has to be done. When the problem with trying to sell a region is, if you're Nottingham, you can say Robin Hood and everyone knows where Robin Hood comes from. If you're the West Midlands or Clare Ward's patch in the East Midlands, it's far less easy to get people to understand that, because people don't know what it is, where is it, where does it start. It is a difficult job, but it needs doing, because unless you can explain to potential customers why the region is good, why it stands out in some way, then the chances are you're just part of the white noise of international promotion, and I think that's the danger, really.
I suppose Manchester has got its two football teams to help sell it, hasn't it?
It has, yes, it does.
That's the thing, it's pretty simple on that. So, connections
Yes.
to prosperity. Has it ticked all the boxes, this conference, for you so far today?
I've found it very interesting, because I'm not sure I had boxes specifically to tick, but it's been very interesting so far, and only halfway through. I have met a lot of interesting people, and some of them have been people I would never normally have met. So I've been to a session on refurbing social housing, and I do know a little bit about that because I worked in a client in that area, but I've never actually spoken to people for that length of time about that exact subject, and it gives you a good perspective, because everyone's got their own angle and so forth. So in that sense, it was good.
So this whole conference then has done what it intended to do, bring people from lots of different
Well, I think that was yes. That was what I think I read in the programme. Now you mention it, I'd forgotten that. It did say that. So yes, I'd say so.
Back again next year?
If they ask me. If they give me something to do.
Thank you. That's really good.
Thank you.